Prediction Markets Edge right here on the early line. It's a Monday. No better way to start your week here for the next half hour. Different look and a different approach, we should say, from sportsbooks over to the prediction markets, which can have some gems. As we brought up last week, you want to take some points props out there to pay 4 and 5 to 1. They got your advantages there. Or if you just want to invest some money in here in games that are going to be played tonight, we'll certainly check that out. Stanley Rightside and it's Joe Raineri. And I'm going to start here, Joe. How about this from 60 Minutes? 9 connected Polymarket accounts have raked in more than $2.4 million, betting almost exclusively on U.S. military actions in what digital detectives from data analytics firm Bubble Maps have identified as potentially egregious cases of insider trading. How about that, Joe? Inside trading looks like it's going down.
I'm so shocked because there's almost none of it ever on Wall Street, Donnie. It's just amazing to me that that it somehow bled into the prediction market, and not where in any of the markets, Donnie, where you got to actually do in markets that are strictly narrative based, and if you have information prior to everyone else, you could actually. Shocking that is happening right now. I cannot believe. I'm floored.
Congressmen making $150,000 a year worth hundreds of millions of dollars because mysteriously they know exactly when a government is going to give out a contract before the public does, buy an extra couple of shares. And I didn't know that was happening at this point. So you would think the same thing with the prediction markets, Joe. How did you know that the Strait of Hormuz was going to be closed tomorrow during a ceasefire? Just a lucky guess, I guess, at this point. Just raked in a couple $1 million. Happens all over the place. Sometimes you're slow to catch on to it. But of course, insider trading has been going on for, I don't know, decades and decades and decades, because that's how some of these guys are making the money here. How about this story, though, Joe? Ben Horney on Twitter, DraftKings co-founder who stepped down and has a new biz, Hardscope, goes off on Kalshi, which is a complete thread that goes all the way through it, Joe, saying that Kalshi is 2 to 3 years away on development and product not there yet and very niche, with a lot of people pushing back on that, Joe. Legitimate sports books not happy that the predictive marketplaces looks like they're here to stay.
They beat you to the punch. It's not like prediction markets are new. They have been around for a while, Donnie. In fact, those were some of the only markets that you could ever bet elections, let's say, and those types of things there. They were around, but they just beat you guys to the punch. You were too busy selling out to Wall Street, and you didn't realize that, at some point, we might have to transition this business into a different model. Well, guess what? The Kalshis, the Polymarkets of the world transitioned before you did.
And by the way, the interesting part that we've been seeing over the past couple months, Joe, is the transitioning, right? It's not as if Polymarket and Kalshi are going to try to be legitimate sports books. But now it seems like DraftKings and FanDuel is like, hey, maybe we should make some of this marketplace look the same as them to try to gain that foothold. That's what's happening right now, not the other way around. Interesting as it plays out because we're learning new things each and every day, just like Game 1 of the Spurs Thunder is going to take place tonight. Western Conference Finals, tip time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Kalshi Marketplace. The favorite at 67% has a chance to win this basketball game. It's OKC. Contract price, yes, is 69 cents, which means Oklahoma City wins outright tonight, Joe. A $100 investment pays back $145.
Yeah, but the problem here, Donnie, is the trends are telling us, wait a minute, what are we talking about here, defending champions? We're talking about Oklahoma City being 39-26 against the spread as a home favorite of more in this price range of 6.5 or more. They're also 5-3 against the number in game ones. They haven't exactly been running away from teams here. Having said that, they have not played in a little while. And I think the energy of that building, Donnie, and I think now that they're healthy, Williams is going to be back on the court for them. Both of these teams have depth. Both of them have guards that like to get out in transition. I see points coming here tonight. I think do not sleep on this being a higher scoring game. Yes, they can both play defense, Donnie, but I think the value lies in the points here tonight. I think, I wouldn't mind doing a little laddering up here on the total up and over to, let's say, I don't know, 224.5 maybe.
You want to ladder up on SGA from 30 points to 35? You can do it on the Kalshi Marketplace. 35-plus points tonight from the MVP, SGA. A $100 investment pays back $323. Montreal Canadiens, Buffalo Sabres. Game number 7 in the NHL tonight for the right to take on the retired, it feels like, Carolina Hurricanes at this point right now. But look at this trading, Joe, the graphic. 50-50 today between the Canadiens and the Sabres. By the way, home team is the Sabres here after a rousing victory in Game 6 up at the Bell Center. Who wins tonight, Joe?
Well, who wins is anybody who expects goals here, like I do. I think that's the way to do it. Listen, the one consistent thing that we have seen in this postseason with these two teams is that you can expect goals. You can expect them early. Obviously, it is not like, Donnie, we're getting some great goaltending. A hot goalie, you can win a Stanley. No, we're not getting that here. We're getting 9 goals a game. We're getting 5 goals in the first period. If it ain't broke, I'm not fixing it. 6-0 to the over in the first period. 1.5 goals. Let's make it 7 because I do not trust either goaltender in this spot to be able to make enough saves early on.
By the way, if you take a look also, Joe, at some of these elimination games, last time we saw one there, the Golden Knights and the Ducks a couple of days ago on a Thursday, which was May 14th, that ended up in a 5-1 finish. Then you take a look at Saturday night. The chance actually was for the Montreal Canadiens to close it, and they didn't, but that final score, 8-3. So just trying to pick the winner tonight and say, I'm going to take that goal, the puck line. Buffalo wins by 1.5 goals tonight, Joe. 32 cents on the yes contract, which means a $100 investment pays $313. Because you're going to see in that third period, Joe, if a team's down 1 or 2 goals, they're pulling that goalie for a long time with a chance to win by extras. Could it go to overtime? Maybe so. But I'm going to assume that this game ends tonight. Somebody's going to be a puck line winner here. Brewers and the Cubs, Major League Baseball. The Cubs were playing their crosstown rival Chicago White Sox. Now they take on the Brewers. First place versus second place here. You take a look at the Cubs as the home team with Imanaga on the mound. 59% chance to win this game, Joe, over the Milwaukee Brewers. How about that?
It's been a rough. I mean, they've been on the road, Donnie. I mean, 9 straight games, I believe, here. The Cubs, they just, lost a weekend series to the crosstown. You mentioned it. White Sox, who are all of a sudden playing some pretty good baseball there. And this is a big series heading home, but nothing consistent about this Cubs team here. Milwaukee has been very good, man. They're finally starting to get a little healthier. The bullpen, the back end of the bullpen is actually starting to deliver. Yeah, I kind of like Milwaukee in this spot here. I don't trust the Cubs. I think it's a sleepy spot for them. Overtime extra inning overtime loss there yesterday. I think Milwaukee wins this game, and I think they win it maybe, Donnie, by more than a run and a half.
Another first place, second place game here is going to take place tonight, Joe. New series. It's the Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. Dodgers were slip-sliding around the past week and a half, but have found their footing once again. Winners of 5 straight games, but also the Padres, winners of 3 straight as well. You take a look at the pitching matchup. This one should be pretty good. King is going to be the underdog for the Padres, going with only a 42% chance to win this game. So if you feel the Padres can pull that upset, a $100 investment is going to pay back $239. Then you look on the other side. Yamamoto on the mound as the favorite for the Dodgers, Joe. What are we feeling tonight?
Yamamoto got tagged for a couple of runs his last time out here. Michael King has also been very good for the Padres now that he is back in it. Feels like, Donnie, I think we might get a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel here, but again, they were in Seattle last night. Sunday Night Baseball, don't forget, right?
Yep.
Now they got to play at home tonight against the Dodgers. Yeah, well, I'm thinking an under might be in play here tonight.
Mystics and the Wings tonight in the WNBA on the Kalshi Marketplace. Joe, Dallas currently trading with a 63% chance to win that game. Washington, the dog, at 37%. But if you're looking at player props, you feel Paige Beckers gets going tonight. 20-plus points is a yes contract of 55 cents, Joe. WNBA action tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the Mystics keep playing these overtime games. Even in their losses, Donnie, less than 5 points. I think the under happens here tonight in this one.
Prediction Markets Edge on the early line returns after this short break. Prediction Markets Edge right here on the early line on Monday morning here, in an active Monday morning, because we got football on the mind as well. Why? Pittsburgh Steelers back in the equation here. Aaron Rodgers in the building. But before we get there, commencement speeches and ceremonies are taking place. Kids are graduating college, and they apparently wanted to hear from Tom Brady, and he also took some shots at people. Let's listen.
The one thing I've learned through sports is the only time you're sure to lose is when you quit. In life and work, you guys are going to get knocked down a lot. How are you going to navigate those moments? Are you going to push through the self-doubt? I want you to challenge yourself with ideas that are uncomfortable and people who push you to be your very best. Even if one of those people is a cranky old coach who cuts the sleeves off his sweatshirt and screams at you all day.
How about now, Joe? I want to put this into effect here now. Make me the commissioner of commencement speeches. You can't give a commencement speech unless you graduated from that university. No? Not fair?
Donnie, this is a lot like the statues and the monuments you get in parks and only played half a year with a team, that kind of thing. Feels kind of the same thing. Disingenuous is what it feels, right?
Like, what's next? He gives the commencement speech at Ohio State in the Horseshoe for their graduates. I mean, it's a slippery slope here, Joe, that we don't want to go down. Stick to your own school institutions here. Give that commencement speech at Michigan here, which brings up our next thing. You know where Tom Brady used to play at a ton of success? That's with the New England Patriots, people. Their forecast for wins on the Kalshi Marketplace, 9+, 10+, 11 wins. Joe, they cruised last year, but apparently people looking for maybe not to be so successful this year as they actually play a decent schedule. No? Where do we go on the win totals here on the Kalshi Marketplace?
Well, again, keeping in mind, they forecasted 9.7, I think, total wins here. But keep in mind, when you dive into these future markets like this and the prediction side, you're always looking for value where you'll have an opportunity to get out, make a profit, Donnie, because the market has got to reprice as the season moves along. The Patriots are sitting here 9.5 wins. I think you can even see 10+ wins on their card here. I mean, they're pricing them now like they're a real contender and not this cute sleeper team that had an easy schedule last year, because the schedule much more difficult. The noise much more this year than in past year. Travel mileage totally different. So I don't see a lot of value in expecting them to win 10 or 11 games. I see the value in them not living up to the potential, and I see the under as to where the value is.
Yeah, it looks like 9+ wins, Joe, currently with a 57% chance to have that happen. But the yes contract there is actually at 66 cents, which means a $100 investment on the Patriots winning 9+ games, I should say, gets back $152. Let's take a look at the opening game that New England's going to play against the Super Bowl champions from a game we just saw in the Super Bowl. New England versus Seattle. Currently right now, Seattle, Joe, and Kalshi, just to win the game, 66% chance with a yes contract of 68 cents. Always hard to go on the road. Emotional atmosphere on opening night all the way out in Seattle. That's going to let you know how dialed in those New England Patriots are. And also, any off-field, off-season happenings could interfere with game number one. We'll find out, but the heavy favorite right now are those Seattle Seahawks, Joe.
Well, here's the deal, Donnie. The market we just talked about there regarding New England and their win total. Well, I tell you right now, if they win this one to open up the season, Donnie, that market's going to reprice and adjust in a big way, right? Same thing for Seattle. If I just need who's going to win this game, I would much rather have Seattle here than anything else. Traveling across country, 12th man, all of that good stuff there. Yeah, but again, Seattle's market, I don't know what their win total is, Donnie, but it will likely have to reprice as well after this game. So those two markets, I think, correlated with game one, depending on which side you think is going to win.
Most of the time, Joe, those rosters are set heading into training camp, OTAs in the first game of the season. Not the case here. We got June 1st coming up sooner than later, which maybe the Patriots can add a wide receiver from Philadelphia. We'll certainly find that out. Probably going to happen here. But also, we take a look at the Seattle Seahawks win total coming up for the next season. We talked about the Patriots right around that 9+ win scenario. You're not getting those discounts with Seattle. That's a good football team, but it is a tough division, Joe. I go to the Kalshi Marketplace. 57% chance to do what? 11 plus wins on the season. The yes contract's at 55 cents here, Joe. Expectations for the Super Bowl champions, extremely high once again in 2026.
Yeah, well, and I think they got the Rams in twice in the final 3 weeks again here on the schedule. They play the last 3 Super Bowl champ. The schedule for Seattle is not going to be easy. But look at the price, Donnie. They're taxing them like, hey, here you go again, another 11, 12 win season up and coming here. We always know there's always that regression with the Super Bowl champs, right? Again, this is a market where I think the fade early on is where the best repricing is going to take place.
Mike Tomlin's not in town, which means questionable if we do get another winning season in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers is back. Mike McCarthy's the new head coach. But I go to the Kalshi marketplace here, Joe. 8+ wins on the season is at 60% right now as a chance. 7+ wins, though, is listed at 54%, but that's not where you make the money. It's in the contract. A yes on 7 wins is 72 cents. A yes on 8 wins, it's all the way down to 56 cents here, Joe. 7-8 wins, that's not a 500 season, Joe. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and what you just said is so true, Donnie. Take whatever you want to think of Pittsburgh with Tomlin and throw it out the window. Because Tomlin is not there. All of those stats, all of those throw them right out the window. It's Mike McCarthy's show now, and this is going to be a dumpster fire. All to the under for me across the board with Pittsburgh this year.
Bijan Robinson invades Acrisure Field to start the season Sunday, September 13th, 1 p.m.
Pittsburgh to win this game, then that's going to help your win total up and over 7.5. If you like them to lose, boy, that under is going to look really good, Donnie.
By the way, sliding down the Kalshi marketplace, you read the market rules, and yes, just have to win the game outright. But now there's a button, Joe, that says view full rules, help center, and report insider trading here. How about that on the Kalshi marketplace? We give you all the latest information. It's just what we do on the SportsGrid Network. One more segment to go. Won't you join us? Come on. Report insider trading. Oh, yeah, Prediction Markets Edge on a Monday on the early line, the best place to be here. Now, as you know, when we take a look at the early line, we like to fade the public here. But how about, Joe, fading the market? Let's do it. market you want to see. NFL week number 1, WNBA futures, the late show, and college football. People giving you what you want, Joe. By the way, did my vote not count? Because it always would be NFL week number 1. Come on now.
Yeah, well, listen, it'll be here before we know it. Like you said, Donnie, there's still that small window of opportunity over the next couple of weeks where some teams could maybe add a player or two. So lots still to be determined, but there's always college football before there's the NFL.
And even before that, Joe, it's the WNBA, and who's going to win that championship here? Now, if you saw yesterday, there was some controversy about the WNBA, which I agree with. You know, it doesn't have to be about Caitlin Clark as the end-all be-all, but trust me, when Caitlin Clark plays for the Fever, you probably want to put her picture up when you're saying, here's the Fever playing against a certain team. And certainly, if there's two pictures, one of them better be Caitlin Clark. The equivalent of the NFL, Chiefs going to open up Monday Night Football, but you don't put Patrick Mahomes up there. You put Carson Wentz or whoever, Justin Fields, as opposed to, it just doesn't happen. So for me, Joe, winning the pro basketball championship in the WNBA, going Fever today. I'm feeling they're slighted. They're going to hold it against everybody. $100 investment pays back $715. And again, Joe, even if they don't win the WNBA championship, if they can win a few rounds in the playoffs, that turns into a positive investment, even if they don't win. Give me the Fever. I got the Fever, baby. $715 back on a $100 investment.
You got to like that, right? I'm also hearing the Dream, though, Donnie. I know the Liberty are the favorite in there as well. They should be, but I'm hearing a lot of good things about the Atlanta Dream getting it going here, Donnie, at a pretty good price point, too. So why not? They're a young team, and from all indications are they might be that one team that surprises this year.
Here's what we don't need, Joe. Like, we already struggle to find ourselves trying to handicap and get to a WNBA championship. And then they also, in their shortened season, unlike the NBA, have a Commissioner's Cup as well. We're doing too many things, Joe. But again, I'll take Indiana once again in this marketplace with a 15-cent contract. We don't need the Commissioner's Cup. We just need the championship. Let's roll on.
Well, the thing with the WNBA Commissioner's Cup is it has everything to do with schedule and motivation, not who's the best team, because don't forget the Cup is decided by specific qualifying games in the early season, and current form matters, not whether or not they're going to take it long-term and win, let's say, the championship. So I think the same players, Donnie, so to speak. I think the same teams we just talked about here. But this is where I would go with the Fever or maybe the Minnesota Lynx, those types of things here where they got enough experience and talent early on that they'll probably be in mid-season form early enough during this Cup run.
Now, if you want to make a 20% investment return, Joe, nice little ROI here, I'm going to tell you how to do it next. College football playoff qualifiers. Doesn't mean win the championship, Joe. Just get in. Correct me if I'm wrong, last year when we were redoing the scenarios on who is actually eligible to win the college football playoff or make it in, Notre Dame got a break. That's like, if they finish a certain area, they have to be in. And then you take a look at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish's schedule. Easy as can be. They play Miami and they only play Miami. They're going to make the college football playoff, Joe, and a $100 investment pays back $115, which it just dropped. It was actually at $120 a few moments ago. Free $15, Joe. Tie your money up. Notre Dame's in. Sorry.
Well, and so is Ohio State and Texas and Oregon and Georgia and Indiana. I mean, this is a portfolio market, Donnie. This kind of situation here. It's not just by the national title favorites. It's, the teams that will always have the clear path to qualify in the top 12, Donnie. And they all of those teams we just mentioned, all of them will be in the college football playoff.
How about this, Joe? Go, 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 Alabama. How many wins for Alabama in 2026 right now? We're about level at 9+ wins, which means they got to get to that 9-win marker. The yes contract is 54 cents, Joe. How many wins does the Crimson Tide get this year?
The bottom line is them or Georgia, right? I mean, they're probably likely going to be into. I'd rather go to the SEC championship title. I think that's a better market than the win market because we already know who's getting there, Donnie, and it's likely them and Georgia.
Yep, Georgia, by the way, 10-plus wins, currently trading at 65 cents right here. So another double-digit winning season for Kirby. And then Indiana's total wins, Joe. To get to 10 wins, that's actually at 79 cents as a yes contract. Looks like he's going back, hurting the boys. The SIG going back to the championship rounds, Joe.
I think they'll make the playoffs, but to repeat as a champion, that is where you start getting ripped off if you think it's going to go back-to-back.
Come on, Carson Beck. Can't throw touchdowns here. Could be the Canes trying to go back-to-back. That'll do it for the show. We'll see you once again tomorrow.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put that team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you like 2, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Let me understand this, Joe. Are we going to have any broadcast games on TV anymore? It's all streaming?
You got to pay to watch here, folks. That's just the way it's going to be, one way or the other. And I'm sure this will satisfy, the FCC looking into the coercion that's going on here with the NBA NFL broadcast rights? Yeah, this is all par for the course, I think.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Now, I see him 15th, 16th, somewhere in that ballpark, and I think that makes sense, Donnie. I don't see him in the top 10. I really don't. I mean, when you look at, let's say, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you start going into that, teams like the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Chiefs, and, could they take a flyer?
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
It's a Monday.